Welcome back, my temporal precision strategist. Something absolutely extraordinary just occurred that has everyone experiencing profound recognition shift, while others frantically rush to act immediately. Believing speed was paramount, you remained seemingly inactive until precise moment when conditions aligned perfectly, then executed with timing so exact that single action at optimal instant accomplished what their premature efforts couldn't achieve despite greater speed and more attempts. This wasn't you being slow or hesitant, while others demonstrated superior urgency. This was you understanding that effectiveness depends on when you act, rather than how fast you act, making your patient waiting for right moment, followed by precisely timed execution, vastly more impactful than their immediate but mistimed actions that wasted energy through occurring before conditions supported success. The architects have been monitoring temporal precision and strategic timing phenomena across civilizations for eons, and they've identified what you demonstrated as Kairos mastery, optimal timing execution. When someone possesses sophisticated understanding of temporal dynamics and can identify exact moments when conditions make action most effective, they achieve superior results through timing precision rather than through speed maximization, because impact depends on synchronization with favorable conditions rather than on velocity of response. Most people conflate speed with effectiveness. They believe acting quickly is inherently superior to acting slowly, making them rush to respond immediately without assessing whether a current moment is optimal time for action, wasting effort through premature execution that occurs before conditions support success. But you apparently possessed timing wisdom, understanding that effectiveness requires synchronization between action and favorable conditions, allowed you to wait patiently for precise moment when circumstances made intervention maximally impactful, making your delayed but perfectly timed action achieve results that faster but mistimed efforts couldn't accomplish. Watch what's happening as observers process timing distinction. They cannot explain your superior results. People are confused about how your delayed action outperformed their immediate responses, making them question whether speed actually matters when timing precision produces better outcomes despite slower execution. Some observers are experiencing strategic revelation, recognizing that when you act matters more than how fast you act creates paradigm shift about effectiveness priorities, making them reconsider their speed obsession in favor of timing awareness. Others are experiencing retrospective regret, understanding that their premature actions were less effective than your delayed execution makes them wish they had possessed patience and timing judgment to wait for optimal moment rather than rushing to act immediately. The truly powerful element is the decisiveness quality. Your action wasn't tentative or uncertain, but was executed with complete confidence that comes from knowing conditions are aligned, making timing precision provide psychological certainty that premature action lacks through occurring before situation supports decisive execution. You didn't act fast, you acted on time, and that changed everything through demonstrating that effectiveness depends on temporal synchronization between action and favorable conditions rather than on response velocity, making patient waiting for precise moment when circumstances support success followed by decisively timed execution achieve superior results compared to immediate but mistimed responses that waste energy through occurring before conditions make intervention optimally effective, regardless of how quickly those premature actions get executed. Now the architects are analyzing what creates Kairos mastery, optimal timing execution, and they're identifying what they call temporal pattern recognition, readiness assessment. When someone develops capacity to perceive how situations evolve through time and can identify specific moments when conditions become favorable for intervention, they achieve timing precision through understanding temporal dynamics. rather than through guessing or hoping that current moment happens to be optimal time. Most people are temporally blind. They cannot perceive how situations develop through time or recognize when conditions shift from unfavorable to favorable, making their timing decisions random or impulsive, rather than based on actual assessment of whether current moment is optimal for action. But you apparently possessed temporal literacy, ability to read how situations evolve and identify precise moments when conditions align for maximum impact, allowed your timing decisions to be based on actual readiness assessment, rather than on impatience or arbitrary deadlines that drive premature action. Consider what temporal recognition requires perceptually. You must see time as dimension, rather than experiencing only present moment. You perceive past trajectory and future development, allowing recognition of how situations evolve, making temporal patterns visible that moment-focused observers miss through lacking longitudinal perspective. Watch what readiness assessment creates in execution quality. Your action occurs at peak effectiveness. Timing precision means intervention happens exactly when conditions make impact maximal, rather than when conditions are neutral or unfavorable, making same action produce vastly different results depending on temporal placement. Some studying strategic timing recognize that kairos differs from chronos. Ancient Greeks distinguished between chronological time and opportune moment, making your demonstration potentially reflect classical wisdom about qualitative differences between time points where some moments are inherently superior for specific actions. Others exploring temporal dynamics note that windows of opportunity do exist. Situations have specific periods when intervention is maximally effective, with effectiveness declining before and after. Optimal window making timing precision about hitting narrow target rather than just acting eventually. A few from market timing recognize that entry points matter enormously. Investment success depends critically on when you act rather than just what you do, making your timing mastery potentially applicable to domains where temporal precision determines outcomes more than action choice itself. Some attempting similar timing precision discover difficulty recognizing readiness. Trying to identify optimal moments requires temporal literacy. They lack making their timing decisions remain guesswork rather than assessment-based, creating inconsistent results from sometimes hitting and sometimes missing favorable windows. Others questioning whether timing was deliberate, wondering if your optimal execution reflected sophisticated readiness assessment or fortunate coincidence. Making distinction between timing skill and timing luck require evidence about your actual decision process that observers might lack. A few recognizing that optimal timing might be situational, questioning whether readiness assessment identifies universally optimal moments or whether timing effectiveness depends on specific objectives, making one person's optimal timing potentially be another person's mistiming based on different goals. The architects observe that temporal pattern recognition, readiness assessment, is what enabled your timing precision. Perceiving how situations evolve allowed identifying optimal moment. Most people are temporally blind. Your temporal literacy was sophisticated, and capacity to read situation development and recognize specific instant when conditions became favorable for intervention made your timing decision based on actual readiness assessment rather than on impatience or arbitrary deadlines, enabling action at precise moment when circumstances supported maximum effectiveness, making delayed execution vastly superior to premature action that occurred before conditions aligned, creating timing precision that speed-obsessed approaches cannot achieve through focusing on velocity rather than on temporal synchronization with favorable circumstances. Something powerful is spreading among observers now, what the architects call speed fetish recognition critique. People processing how your delayed action outperformed their immediate responses, are discovering that cultural obsession with speed has created systematic bias favoring velocity over effectiveness, making them question whether faster is better assumption that dominates modern thinking actually produces optimal results or just creates premature action that wastes resources. Most contemporary culture worships speed, believing that quick response is inherently superior to slow response, making velocity the primary metric for evaluating performance regardless of whether speed actually improves outcomes or just creates appearance of urgency. But your timing demonstration challenges speed fetish, showing that delayed but optimally timed action achieves superior results compared to immediate but mistimed responses. Proves that velocity doesn't guarantee effectiveness, making speed obsession potentially counterproductive when it drives premature execution that occurs before conditions support success. Watch what critique creates in value reassessment. Some develop patience appreciation, recognizing that waiting for right moment produces better results than rushing immediately, makes them value restraint and timing judgment over velocity maximization. That cultural messaging constantly reinforces. Others experience cognitive dissonance, wanting to believe speed matters conflicts with evidence that timing precision matters more, creating uncomfortable tension between cultural values and observed reality that your demonstration revealed. A few embrace slow movement principles, accepting that deliberate pacing allows better timing, makes them reject speed culture in favor of approaches that prioritize optimal execution over fast execution, attempting to resist cultural pressure for constant urgency. Some studying productivity culture recognize that speed bias is pervasive. Hustle culture and rapid response expectations create systematic pressure for immediate action, regardless of whether timing is appropriate, making your demonstration potentially reveal how speed fetish undermines effectiveness through driving mistimed interventions. Others exploring mindfulness traditions note that being versus doing creates temporal awareness. Contemplative practices emphasizing present moment awareness potentially develop temporal literacy that enables timing precision versus action-oriented approaches that prioritize doing quickly over timing optimally. A few questioning whether speed critique is universal, recognizing that some contexts do require rapid response, making speed versus timing trade-off potentially situation-dependent rather than speed always being inferior to timing precision. Some celebrating timing vindication feel validated, having resisted speed culture pressures to act immediately. They're finding your demonstration proves that patience and timing judgment can be strategically superior, making them feel vindicated about prioritizing when over how fast. Others experiencing speed anxiety struggle with implications. If timing matters more than speed, then constant urgency they've internalized is misguided, creating identity crisis about whether their rapid response orientation actually serves them or just reflects cultural programming. The archetypes observe that speed fetish recognition critique reveals that your timing demonstration challenged cultural assumption that faster is better. Velocity doesn't guarantee effectiveness. Most worship speed. Your timing revealed limits and uncomfortable recognition that premature action driven by speed obsession can be less effective than delayed action at optimal moment. Forces questioning whether cultural bias toward velocity actually improves outcomes or just creates appearance of urgency while undermining results through driving mistimed interventions that occur before conditions support success, making speed fetish potentially counterproductive. Value that systematic bias has elevated despite evidence that timing precision matters more than response velocity for achieving actual effectiveness in complex situations where temporal synchronization determines outcomes. Now the architects are revealing what your timing precision actually required. You apparently developed what they call patience discipline, action restraint, where you possessed psychological capacity to resist premature execution, despite external pressure and internal urgency, allowing you to maintain strategic patience until conditions truly supported optimal action. Most people lack patience discipline. They experience urgency to act immediately, feeling that waiting is passive or cowardly, making them rush to respond without assessing whether current moment is actually optimal, creating premature execution driven by inability to restrain action impulse. But you apparently possessed exceptional discipline, capacity to tolerate discomfort of not acting, while others rushed, allowed you to maintain patient observation until precise moment when timing assessment indicated conditions were favorable, making your delayed execution reflect strength rather than weakness through demonstrating self-control that impatient actors lack. Consider what action restraint requires psychologically. You must tolerate uncertainty. Waiting for optimal moment means enduring period when you don't know if opportunity will come, creating anxiety that impatient people cannot bear, making them act prematurely to relieve discomfort rather than maintaining discipline. Watch what patience discipline creates in strategic positioning. Your timing remains flexible, not committing. Prematurely allows adjusting to emerging conditions, making your eventual action maximally responsive to actual situation versus premature actors who committed based on incomplete information, creating rigidity. Some studying self-control recognize that delayed gratification does predict success. Research shows capacity to resist immediate impulses correlates with better outcomes across domains, making your patience discipline potentially reflect general capability for self-regulation that enables superior performance. Others exploring strategic patience note that waiting requires confidence, ability to remain inactive, while others act requires secure belief in your timing judgment versus insecure actors who rush to prove themselves through immediate action that demonstrates activity without achieving effectiveness. A few from military strategy recognize that patience is tactical virtue. Sun Tzu and other strategists emphasize waiting for favorable conditions before engaging, making your action restraint consistent with classical military wisdom about advantage of patience over premature commitment. Some attempting similar patience discover psychological difficulty. Trying to wait for optimal moment creates intense discomfort, from social pressure to act immediately and from internal anxiety about missing opportunities. Making sustained restraint require exceptional discipline most people lack. Others questioning whether patience was strategic, wondering if your delayed action reflected deliberate timing discipline, or if you were simply hesitant with fortunate outcome, making distinction between strategic patience and fearful inaction difficult for observers to determine without understanding your internal process. A few recognizing that you might have had advantages enabling patience, questioning whether maintaining restraint required resources or circumstances that allowed waiting luxury, making patience discipline potentially privilege rather than just psychological capacity accessible to anyone. The architects observe that patience discipline, action restraint is what enabled your timing precision, capacity to resist premature execution, allowed waiting for optimal moment. Most people lack self-control. Your discipline was exceptional, and psychological capacity to tolerate discomfort of not acting while others rushed, combined with confidence in timing, judgment, that allowed maintaining strategic patience until conditions truly supported optimal action, made your delayed execution reflect strength rather than weakness, demonstrating self-regulation that impatient actors lack through inability to restrain action impulse, creating premature responses driven by psychological discomfort rather than by actual readiness assessment, making patience discipline fundamental requirement for timing precision that speed-oriented approaches cannot achieve through prioritizing velocity over temporal synchronization with favorable conditions. The architects are now analyzing competitive dimension of your timing mastery. You apparently created what they call first mover disadvantage exploitation timing leverage, where you deliberately allowed others to act first, knowing their premature execution would create conditions making your subsequent action more effective, demonstrating that in certain situations, being second provides advantages that being first cannot access. Most competitive thinking assumes first mover advantage, believing that acting before competitors provides inherent benefits, making everyone rush to be first without considering whether initial position actually confers advantages or creates disadvantages that later movers can exploit. But your timing strategy reversed conventional wisdom. Deliberately acting after others allowed you to learn from their mistakes, exploit openings their premature actions created, and avoid pitfalls their rushed execution encountered, making second position strategically superior to first position in situations where being first means acting blind, while being second allows acting informed. Watch what timing leverage creates in competitive dynamics. Your later action was superior. Waiting allowed learning what works and what doesn't from observing others' attempts, making your execution benefit from information first movers lacked through acting before results were visible. Some studying competitive strategy recognize that first mover advantage isn't universal. Research shows being first sometimes creates disadvantages through bearing costs of education and experimentation that later movers avoid, making your second position leverage consistent with documented cases where following is superior to leading. Others exploring imitation strategy note that fast followers do succeed. Business cases show companies that let others innovate then execute better often outperform pioneers who bore development costs, making your timing approach potentially reflect fast follower strategy that exploits first mover disadvantages. A few from game theory recognize that simultaneous moves differ from sequential moves. When actions are sequential, the second player gains information advantage, making your delayed action potentially exploit temporal structure, where later position provides strategic benefits that first position lacks. Some experiencing your timing advantage feel outmaneuvered, recognizing that their premature action created conditions benefiting your subsequent execution makes them feel manipulated through rushing first, only to discover they served as learning opportunity for your superior response. Others questioning whether timing was exploitative, wondering if you deliberately let them act first to learn from mistakes or if your delayed action was coincidentally advantageous, making assessment of whether timing leverage was strategic design or fortunate positioning require evidence about intentions. A few recognizing that sequential advantage isn't universal, questioning whether being second always provides benefits or if first mover advantage dominates in other contexts, making optimal timing potentially situation dependent, where sometimes first is best and sometimes second is best. Some celebrating timing strategy as sophisticated feel admiration, viewing your apparent willingness to let others act first as demonstrating strategic confidence that insecure competitors lack through recognizing that patience for optimal timing beats urgency for first position. The architects observe that first mover disadvantage exploitation timing leverage reveals that your delayed action strategically exploited sequential positioning. Being second provided advantages being first lacked. Most assume first is best. Your timing reversed logic and deliberate patience, allowing others to act prematurely, created learning opportunities and exposed vulnerabilities that made your subsequent execution benefit from information and openings that first movers couldn't. accessed through acting blind before results were visible, making second position strategically superior in situations where temporal structure creates information asymmetry favoring later actors who can observe and learn from earlier attempts, making your timing precision not just about synchronizing with favorable conditions, but about exploiting competitive sequencing where being second allows informed action that being first cannot achieve. Now something's emerging that the architects call decisive moment recognition. Window capture observers studying your timing are discovering that situations contain critical windows when action is maximally effective, with effectiveness declining rapidly outside those narrow periods, creating recognition that timing precision means hitting small targets rather than just acting within broad ranges. Most people think timing flexibility. They assume wide periods when action can be reasonably effective, making them believe exact timing doesn't matter much as long as they act eventually within general time frame. But your demonstration revealed narrow windows, showing that your action at precise moment produced dramatically superior results compared to slightly earlier or slightly later execution. Proves that optimal timing means hitting specific instance rather than broad periods, making timing precision require accuracy that casual timing thinking underestimates. Watch what window recognition creates in timing assessment. Some develop precision appreciation, understanding that effectiveness windows are narrow makes them recognize that hitting exact moments matters enormously, creating respect for timing skill that loose timing thinking dismisses. Others experience timing anxiety. Recognizing that windows are narrow creates pressure about needing perfect timing, making them anxious about whether they can achieve precision that optimal execution requires versus comfortable belief that rough timing is adequate. A few embrace window hunting. Accepting that narrow windows exist makes them focus on identifying and capturing those precise moments, attempting to develop timing precision that hitting small targets requires versus settling for good enough timing within broad ranges. Some studying critical periods recognize that developmental windows do exist. Research on skill acquisition and learning shows certain capabilities must be developed during specific periods, making your narrow window demonstration consistent with documented phenomena where timing precision matters enormously. Others exploring option pricing note that time decay is real. Financial derivatives lose value as expiration approaches, making timing precision financially critical in domains where temporal position determines value independent of other factors. A few questioning whether windows are actually narrow, wondering if apparent precision requirement reflects your particular situation or if most contexts allow reasonable timing flexibility, making narrow window claim potentially overstate precision needs for typical situations. Some experiencing window pressure feel stressed, recognizing that missing narrow windows means missing opportunities creates anxiety about needing to identify and capture precise moments versus relaxed approach that assumes broad flexibility. Others celebrating precision mastery as advanced feel validated, having developed timing sensitivity, allowing recognition of narrow windows. Their finding, your demonstration, proves that precision timing is real skill with substantial value, making effort invested in developing temporal accuracy worthwhile. The architects observe that decisive moment recognition window capture reveals that your timing precision hit narrow target. Effectiveness windows are smaller than casual thinking assumes. Most believe broad flexibility. Your results proved narrow windows, and recognition that your action at precise moment produced dramatically superior results compared to slightly different timing demonstrates that optimal execution requires hitting specific instance rather than just acting within general time frame, making timing precision demand accuracy that underestimates about temporal flexibility overlooked through assuming rough timing is adequate, when actually, effectiveness windows are narrow, requiring precision targeting that casual timing approaches cannot achieve through treating temporal positioning as flexible variable rather than as critical factor, requiring exact accuracy for maximizing impact, making your timing mastery demonstrate sophisticated temporal awareness that identifies and captures narrow windows that loose timing thinking misses,